Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following. Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk, the state superintendent visited Bloomington this week to talk about making schools inclusive for all students.
Well, I think communities are becoming, more mindful of the students that they serve, and that can't help but having schools to address the issues when things are brought up.
Ahead, why she spent more time listening than speaking. In rural parts of the state, nearly half of Hoosiers don't have broadband access, and it's hurting their economies.
We felt like if we didn't provide internet services, then perhaps there'd be nobody that would provide them. And our college kids, our kids and our grandkids would not come back to our communities.
Ahead, a look at the barriers that are preventing some communities from getting broadband access. And it's the anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. We commemorate the anniversary in our History Through Headlines segment. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. State Superintendent Glenda Ritz joined the conversation this week about how to make schools safer and more inclusive for all students. The backdrop for her announcement was Bloomington High School South. It's part of the Monroe County Community School Corporation, which recently updated its anti-discrimination policy to specifically prohibit discrimination or bullying based on a student's sexual orientation or gender identity. Before, it prohibited discrimination toward all students. Claire McInerney from our State Impact Education reporting team explains what changes are being made inside the schools to comply with the new policy and what prompted the changes now.
Superintendent Glenda Ritz took a seat on the stage at Bloomington High School South Tuesday to engage in a conversation about how to make schools safer and more inclusive, especially for LGBT students.
The RFRA debacle, because that's what I'll call it, is not fixed.
She was billed as the guest speaker, but she mostly sat back and listened, taking notes as students shared their experiences, good and bad, of teachers addressing LGBT students in the classroom.
I was talking to a teacher about, a middle school teacher, about my identity as a bisexual, and they just kind of said, well, you'll pick one.
The student panelists are members of PRISM, a youth group for LGBT students run by Bloomington Pride. They organize the discussion, and Ritz says conversations like this are slowly reaching schools statewide.
I think the conversation's out there already. With the RFRA conversation, it's happening all over the state in our communities, and it's happening in our schools. And I think that we have students who are feeling empowered, so to speak, to bring up issues with their administration. I'm excited that we're having that conversation statewide.
MCCSC is a school district taking these conversations and turning them into actions, such as transitioning these bathrooms at Bloomington High School North into gender-neutral restrooms. This is the most current version of the anti-harassment policy for the district. A few years ago, they added specifically that discrimination or bullying against a student based on their sexual orientation or gender identity is prohibited. But the question now is how to take this policy and make sure it turns into actions that make school a safe and inclusive place for LGBT students. Meet Greg Chaffin. He's a school counselor at Bloomington High School North, and he's working to implement some of the changes spelled out in the document. He says the policy helps establish a precedent for eliminating negative attitudes toward LGBT students.
We can address that bullying, where we can make sure that it doesn't happen again. And we have the administration behind us and the whole community behind us when there's a policy in place.
Earlier this year, the PRISM students created a curriculum for teachers with different modules to help teachers understand issues LGBT students deal with and why things such as gender-neutral restrooms and using a student's preferred pronouns are important to making them feel comfortable at school. MCCSC asked to use the training, and later this month, all of the principals and administrators in the district will participate in a session led by PRISM students.
Specifically focused on the forefront on terminology and just making sure everyone understands some of the topics they discussed tonight, how to address students, what different terms mean and why it's appropriate and necessary that we use them.
Ritz says she is encouraged by the activism of these students, and although her role as a statewide policymaker doesn't allow her and the Department of Education to make sweeping changes, they can help local districts if they are thinking about changes similar to what MCCSC is doing.
What I did come away with are ways that I might be able to support and answer questions when local school corporations are thinking about what they might need to do to help address student issues. And so that's why I was taking notes and seeing how I'm going to be helpful in the future.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Claire McInerney.
There's no statewide policy for school districts regarding anti-discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity, and State Superintendent Ritz says that will likely stay as a local decision. Now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. Purdue and its student newspaper have resolved a year-long dispute stemming from a shooting last year on campus. In January 2014, Cody Cousins murdered fellow student Andrew Bolt. While taking photographs shortly after the shooting, a photojournalist with the Exponent newspaper says he was pushed by a police officer even after he went to his knees, as he had been ordered. In his complaint, Michael Takeda also said police verbally threatened him and confiscated and damaged his camera. The Purdue Student Publishing Foundation and the university agreed to dismiss the lawsuit, which sought to force Purdue to release surveillance footage of the confrontation, which it ultimately did. Ivy Tech president Tom Snyder is retiring, saying he's ready to begin his next phase of his career. Snyder has run the college since 2007, 2 years after it was rechartered as a statewide network. Since then, it's become the nation's largest singly accredited statewide community college with 34 campuses granting certificates and associate's degrees. Earlier this year, President Obama visited Ivy Tech to promote free community college. He called the school one of the best in the country. But Ivy Tech has faced growing scrutiny over declining enrollment and low graduation rates. Snyder will retire in 2016, about a year before his contract ends. The president of Ivy Tech's board says details on a presidential search committee will be announced soon. The company that will administer next year's I-STEP exam says not to worry. The glitches that have previously plagued the exam are a thing of the past. As Alexander McCall reports, the state's contract with CTB ended this school year, and Pearson takes over the assessment next year.
The Vice President of State Testing Services for Pearson gave a presentation to the Interim Study Committee on Education this week. He says last year Pearson had around 1.3 million students testing at one time and utilizing the company's servers. When CTB administered the I-STEP in 2013, school districts around the state suspended testing after technology issues with online assessments prevented students from moving through the exam. CTB said it was because their servers couldn't handle the amount of students testing at one time. Because of those issues, CTB last year paid the state a $3 million settlement, and Indiana did not renew its contract with the company. Although the state did not renew its contract with CTB, the Department of Education will still work with the company through 2016 after CTB announced last month there will be a delay in releasing scores from the 2015 I-STEP test. As CTB finishes out its contract and Pearson begins its work with the state, the two companies are conducting weekly conference calls with each other and the Department of Education. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Alexander McCall.
A breach of contract lawsuit against Terre Haute is under the review of a federal judge. Highland TH and Overseas Lease Group claim Terre Haute agreed to pay 240 monthly payments of more than $700,000 for sludge drying purposes. The contracts are tied to a deal Mayor Duke Bennett has been trying to negotiate with Powerdyne, a company promising to bring a facility that would turn the city's wastewater sludge into fuel the city could then sell.
We still feel stand on firm ground that that it's going to be thrown out. It's just unfortunate that we have to work through this because then the Powerdyne project is on hold.
Bennett says the contract needed to go to the city council to be valid, but the lawsuit claims the city is still breaching the contract and is looking to recoup those promised payments. The group that successfully lobbied against Indiana's proposed same-sex marriage ban amendment is gearing up for a new fight next session. Freedom Indiana is beginning a push now to focus its efforts on including sexual orientation and gender identity into the state civil rights statute.
I think Hoosiers want to be fair and equal, and I think that as polling shows, we have the traction to get the law passed.
Paulson says Freedom Indiana isn't planning an ad campaign, instead looking forward to a grassroots effort that generates thoughtful, productive conversations with Hoosiers and their lawmakers. The leader of the American Family Association of Indiana says including what he calls sexual behavior in the civil rights statute is an assault on religious freedom, and that the people who are being discriminated against now are those who disagree with the agenda of Freedom Indiana. The Hoosiers face Florida International tomorrow, and it'll look like a different team than the one that took the field during their season opener last weekend. They barely eked out a win after 9 of their players were benched just before kickoff. Coach Kevin Wilson hasn't elaborated on why the players were sidelined, only saying that they didn't live up to their team responsibilities.
If they were suspended, they wouldn't have dressed, they wouldn't have traveled, they weren't allowed to play in the game. Our decision. Our program has standards that we live up to. And when you miss the game, you miss the next game. So if you were redshirted last year, couldn't play last year, that might happen 18 months ago. When's your next game? Because you missed the next game. So nothing's happened in the last week, month, 2 months. There's no issues. That was said it after. There's no issues with these guys. They're kids. There are issues because they're kids. But there's phenomenal buy-in. They know the lay of the land. They know where they're at. They're doing a great job. We moved forward this summer as a family. It's the best group we've had. And I got nothing else to say about that.
T. Gray Scales was given a 2-game suspension, so he will still be out for this weekend's game. Wilson didn't say why Scales' suspension was for 2 games. But Joe, despite those suspensions, we were both at the game last weekend, and there was a lot of cream and crimson.
At least it was exciting. It was close, but at least it been exciting. Hopefully Saturday night under the lights, it'll be a little bit easier for the Hoosiers.
Yes.
Thanks, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. If you don't live or work in a rural area, it's a problem you might not be aware of. High-speed internet is easily accessible in cities, but it's a different story when you get out in the country. Nearly half of Indiana's rural communities lack broadband access. Ahead, the effect that's having on their economies and why coming up with a solution is so complicated. And it's been 14 years since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Ahead in our History Through Headlines segment, Hoosiers who were called to help at Ground Zero, their memories of that day, and a look at how some Indiana communities are commemorating the anniversary this year. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
I can change the world with my own 2 hands, make it a better place with my own 2 hands. I'm gonna make it a brighter place with my own 2 hands. I'm gonna help the human race with my own 2 hands. I can hold you in my own 2 hands, and I can comfort you with my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The internet is available at nearly every coffee shop, and it's accessible at the touch of a button on your phone. But many rural communities still lack reliable high-speed internet connections. In fact, 44% of Hoosiers living in rural Indiana don't have access to high-speed internet. And as Gretchen Frazee reports, that's putting their economies at a disadvantage.
Randy Clark and one of his good friends got into the internet business 10 years ago. They didn't do it to make money.
We felt like if we didn't provide internet services, then perhaps there'd be nobody that would provide them. And our college kids, our kids and our grandkids would not come back to our communities if they couldn't have the same services that they got accustomed to when they were at college or in a big city.
In rural parts of the state, like here in Orange County and south central Indiana, getting a high-speed internet connection can be tough. While the state has a good internet fiber backbone that runs along the state's major highways, homes are spread out, and that makes running internet cables that last mile to customers' front doors costly, with little return on investment. Instead of running cables through the ground, Clark's company, Helix Technologies, has decided to go another direction, up.
If you look way up above, on the railings of this water tower, you'll see dishes. One of those dishes point to Orleans, another one points to Camelsburg.
The dishes shoot the internet via radio signals into people's homes, and it generally works well, although there are some drawbacks.
We've got lots of trees. Trees generally block radio signals. Another one is spectrum, because a lot of the 900 and the 2.4, and those are just common things, are being tied up by a lot of different devices. For instance, a lot of the farmers' stuff use 900 megahertz to check their acreage in their fields.
There's also speed. Most of Helix Technologies' connections provide download speeds of about 10 megabits per second. Technically, that's not even considered high-speed internet anymore. The Federal Communications Commission changed the definition of high-speed internet to 25 megabits per second earlier this year, saying the previous threshold of 4 megabits per second wasn't keeping up with demand for downloading videos and other internet services. So while most of Indiana has some type of internet coverage, the area covered by high-speed internet is much lower. That's where Representative Eric Cook hopes new legislation will make a difference.
The Broadband Ready certification is a strong message to those companies that that area is ready for them and it's welcoming to the kind of investment it's going to take to get us up to speed.
At a recent ceremony, Governor Mike Pence signed the Broadband Ready bill into law. It aims to strip away some of the barriers that keep internet providers from getting into a community. If a community changes its local laws to meet that criteria, it can receive a Broadband Ready designation. Nashville in Brown County was the first town to receive that designation.
We have 1,000 people, and so we're a small town, but we're unique in that we have 230 small businesses in our town, and on a weekend that's busy, say in the fall or the spring, we can grow to 10 to 20,000 people who are visiting to see the leaves or shop. The 230 businesses in town rely on, current technology. People travel and they expect high-speed internet. It's a part of life now, and it's a level that we want to, strive to meet just like a large city would.
Speed to market is very, very important. And I'm excited that Indiana is the first state in the country to have put in such a program.
AT&T is one of the largest internet providers in Indiana and already serves Nashville.
Every community matters to us greatly. There's no community too small that's not of interest to us. And as technology continues to change, the opportunity and the challenge is to find the right technology at the right cost point.
Sword says in a few years it might even be cheaper and more efficient for people to use wireless internet, like the kind we use on our mobile devices, in place of Wi-Fi. That would cut down on the need for hardware and make the internet much more accessible to rural areas. In Orange County, Clark says he's not sure what the future holds, but he's not going to stop working to get more people connected.
The more that we can provide these services to people coming back to our community, the more likely they are to stay. And that impacts our REMCs, it impacts our schools, it impacts everything about our way of life.
That means if a community has high-speed, reliable internet, its economy could thrive. But if it doesn't, it will quickly be left behind. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Gretchen Frazee.
The state legislature plans to continue studying this topic ahead of next year's legislative session to determine what other changes might need to be made to boost internet access across the state. So far, the trend has been toward deregulation. So to help kind of make sense of all this, telecommunications professor and former senior FCC counselor Barbara Cherry and State Representative Matt Pierce join us. Thank you so much for being here today. We heard in that story the federal government does regulate broadband, but especially in terms of the definition. But what does it do? And we'll start with you, Matt, in terms of regulating accessibility.
Well, it just all comes down to getting companies to make the investment, and if the companies aren't going to do it, then I think the government has to step in and do something affirmative to make that happen. So in Indiana in 2006, we said, well, if we deregulate telecommunications in the state, that will spur all this great investment. And it just hasn't happened for our rural areas, so that's not going to work. The latest bills, the Broadband Ready Communities bill, it can't hurt, but I think it's a false premise. People are not investing in rural communities because they're raising artificial barriers about permits for rights-of-ways and things like that. Most mayors, town councils, they're going to do backflips to get people to come in and invest in their community. They're not going to hold them up on permits. So while that bill's not harmful, it doesn't really advance it. The other problem is that a lot of the carriers are basically saying, well, you're going to have wireless coverage, you'll have cell phones. But the reality is you're never going to get the levels of speed you're going to need for the future economy through the wireless system. The spectrum is limited, it's difficult to do, and so we've got to have a wired connection as well.
And how about you, Barbara, in terms of a more national?
Yes, earlier this year, the FCC issued a broadband progress report, and what they found in this report was that broadband deployment throughout the nation still is not up to what we need for the higher speeds for voice, data, graphics, and video offerings. And this is particularly true in the rural areas. So it turns out that even at various levels of speeds throughout the country, rural areas are particularly low. For the most recent measurement of, or desired threshold of 25 megabits per second download and 3 megabits per second upload, 1/2 of all rural areas in the United States do not have access to broadband.
Well, and then let's take that to how about here in Indiana, Matt, in terms of deregulation, how does that help or impacted Indiana?
Well, the theory was that if you deregulated the local telephone companies and allowed them to come in and do video without local franchises, that would spur a lot of investment. We were told we would have investment, we would lead the country. And instead what happened is, for example, Verizon basically abandoned all of their wireline phone lines. They sold them off to Frontier. So what you see is AT&T and Verizon, the bigger companies, they're focusing on the wireless product. That's where they see their real profit center to be. And they really are wanting to abandon a lot of their traditional lines. The problem is if you do that, then you have nothing to work with either to upgrade the fiber or just even do DSL broadband to get into these areas. So if you look south to Kentucky, they've announced that something called an I-Way program. They're going to do about 3,400 miles of fiber optic installation in every county across Kentucky. It's going to be about a $320 million investment, and they're partnering up with some people in the private sector. But the point is they're proactively going out to push fiber into the rural areas.
Yeah, we're seeing that, okay, so high-speed internet considered 25 megabytes, but we're starting to hear about so-called gigabit cities, which could download a movie in about 30 seconds. Where are we on that?
I'm not aware of the FCC having information with regard to a gigabit speed because deployment in rural areas is insufficient even for lower speeds. However, there is high-cost funding from the Universal Service Support, a federal fund, that gives carriers the opportunity to accept this funding in exchange for the obligation to serve rural areas, and approximately $1.5 billion for the next 6 years has been accepted by carriers to help build out in rural areas, of which Indiana itself will see approximately 51 million per year.
Wow. So much more we can talk about. We have to cut it short today. Thank you so much for being here. And now we take a look back at what was making the news in our History Through Headlines segment. It was September 11th, 2001. George W. Bush was president, Jay-Z's The Blueprint was released, and 2 planes were flown into the World Trade Center's Twin Towers. The headline reads, Terror, hijacked jets hit World Trade Center, Pentagon. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:03 a.m., United Flight 175 hit the South Tower. Both towers collapsed. Rescue crews from around the country aided in the effort to find survivors among the rubble. Indiana Task Force 1 comprised of firefighters from Marion County and the surrounding areas, was on the scene within 24 hours of the attacks.
And they immediately put us to work as soon as we got there. We split the team into 2 different shifts, obviously the morning and then the night shift.
Greg Hess was with Indiana Task Force 1. In 2010, he pushed for a permanent Indianapolis memorial for those killed in the September 11th attacks. 2 steel beams from the towers were moved from New York City to a piece of land next to the Indianapolis Fire Department. For many, the pain caused on 9/11 will never fade. Prolonged exposure to the toxic dust from the collapsed buildings caused health problems in many of those who responded to the tragedy.
I was diagnosed with stage 3A colon cancer in 2007, and we found out early in 2008 that my cancer had been certified as my exposure to ground zero.
Rescue and recovery workers are at higher risk of developing cancer, according to a 2012 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. In 2011, the federal government allocated $4.2 billion to create the World Trade Center Health Program, providing treatment for people with health problems caused by the 9/11 attacks. The city of Bloomington remembered the 14th anniversary of 9/11 this morning with a ceremony outside the courthouse. Along with a performance of taps and a 3-volley gun salute, the laying of a wreath symbolized the lives lost in the 2001 terrorist attack. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters, with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.